I'm with my old buddy Rick Redding, and we're up here at the Lynn Drive-In Theater. Now, how many of you have been to the drive-in? Yeah, okay. You've been there. I know you have. So have I. And I'll tell you, this drive-in brings back certainly a lot of memories for me because years ago I used to sort of, provide the pre-movie and intermission time entertainment via tapes we used to do, played music and pushed the concession stand. And Rick, I just want you to know I really appreciate you letting us come up and talk to you here about the old Lynn.
Well, thank you, Gary, and good morning.
Well, good morning.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. This is an exciting thing. I tell you, I know you had a real nice article in the Times Reporter a little while back, and we thought we'd kind of follow it up as well because this is such a unique experience, and with the fact that, drive-ins, let's face it, you're one of the few left around.
We're a rare breed, and we're very, very fortunate to be here in a longevity, but a renaissance. And the renaissance is open-air drive-in theater movies, listening to the movies on FM stereo in your car. I mean, that's cool.
It is, and it certainly is. Let's talk about that, though, just for a second, because when you look at this, of course, you are, the second oldest, now if I remember this right, second oldest in the state of Ohio, and or first oldest?
Correction. We're the first oldest drive-in theater in Ohio, and the second oldest drive-in theater in the world. There is a drive-in theater over in Pennsylvania called Schenkwalder's, and he has 2 years on us.
Oh, my gosh.
So the running joke is that every season when we're ready to open, I'll email him, and I'll say, "Are you open?" He'll immediately, "Yep, we're open. Are you sorry we're open?" But we're friendly in that manner, and I wish Schenkwalder's the best. But we are the second oldest, but we try harder.
Well, I know you do. Rick, we want to talk about this because your family got involved in this really in the mid to, late 50s. But this drive-in had been here prior to your family's involvement.
Oh, yeah. The theater started construction in the mid-30s, around 35 is when they started to break ground, and there were other facilities here at that time. Roland Boyer was the operator, and he, along with a guy by the name of Andy Thompson, decided, let's build a drive-in theater, and they did. There was a driving range for golf, shooting gallery, skee ball, arcades, actually a train that even some of the people out there might even remember the train. You could get on a train and go around the perimeter. Yeah, a lot of fun. Unfortunately, when we came in 57, 58, those things were gone. But during the 30s and 40s, those things were there. Really neat. Give a whole family experience to come up.
Well, of course, the automobile obviously brought about the idea of the drive-in theater. We became mobile, and boy, this was a great way to do that. But you came into the 50s. Just kind of look back there a little bit. The movie industry was kind of taking it on the chin. Television was coming in strong. What has been the success, would you say, of your longevity here?
Well, I would say obviously CinemaScope came in the 50s, and that gave all theaters a boost. To see, a film projected on a huge rectangle screen. Stereophonic sound systems came into vogue then in indoor and, not the drive-ins at that time. But I think that gave patrons a chance to go listen to a film in stereophonic sound, CinemaScope. That also helped the indoor theaters at that time too. So. Helping us actually wasn't until mid-90s that before we decided to go FM stereo. Prior to that, CinemaScope features were really, it. Outside of maybe double features, where the indoor theater you're going to see one film. Here we have always managed to play double features. So,
of course, now the studios, the old studio systems, they owned the theaters, and of course they came along and broke that up, as you well know. And of course, then they were probably also reluctant to give you the first runs of the movies that were coming out, right?
Yeah, that really did put the drive-in image as a second run drive-in. But we showed a lot of product. A lot of drive-in showed a lot of product. They would do like a Sunday, Tuesday run with a double feature, and then a Wednesday through Saturday run with a double feature, usually throwing in Saturday midnight show. So at that time, prior to videotape, drive-in theaters would show a lot of films, where the indoor theaters once again were, you know, holding those first run engagements. So
yeah, well, now that's changed now because you're getting the movies first time out.
Yeah, and have been for about 10 years now. With the addition of the second screen here at this drive-in theater, gave us the opportunity to hold a feature longer, meaning we could then compete and get that first run feature as we are now. Very helpful.
You know, one of course the great things about a drive-in theater, of course you come here and of course you can be in your own car, you can have the kids in their jammies, and I mean there's a lot of pluses to this.
They do, yeah. Most recently, we're playing some children type movies right now, and they still come in their jammies, and you can see them laying out on the grass in their blankets, and that's a kick. I mean, that's fun stuff.
It sure is. We're gonna talk a little bit about some of the mechanics. How did the picture get on that screen way back there?
Magic. It's magic.
Are we allowed to show the magic?
I think we should.
All right, very good.
We'll show you. We'll show you the man behind the curtain. So stick around.
All right, very good. Yeah, we're going to go inside and take a look at the projection booth and talk about the concession stand and talk about some other things about drive-in movies as we're talking with Rick Redding here this morning at the Lynn Drive-In Theater. Well, we've moved inside, and we are in the projection booth of the Lynn Drive-In, and of course talking with Rick here this morning, and Rick spent a lot of hours in here, I bet.
Oh my, between the old Twilight Drive-In theaters that Mom and Dad owned, and the Caddis Drive-In theater that Mom and Dad owned, and the Lynn here, many hours. Yeah.
Has it changed much? We're going to be talking to one of your sons here that does this, but has it changed much from when you first started?
Well, basically it's still the same. There's a lamp house, a projector, a sound head, and take-up reels for the film. So that design concept has, remained since day one as a projection system. A lot of upgrades, though. But I think maybe Jamie could explain that maybe a little bit better than I can.
Yeah, we should point out you have two sons who are involved here with you.
Yes, I do.
We're going to meet one now.
You're going to meet Jamie, my youngest son, and Rich is my oldest son. And
we'll talk to them.
We'll talk to them.
All right. We're going to talk to Jamie, and go on in here. Jamie is over here behind these projectors. And I notice we have two projectors in here. Why is that?
Well, mainly you can't fit a whole movie on one reel. So you have to be able to switch over in the middle of the movie.
Well, now, the reason for that, pick this thing up here and show them. I don't know if you can take a look at this thing. This thing is absolutely gigantic. How many hours? It looks like you can put the whole movie on there, but obviously you can't.
Right around an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, or if it's full, and you don't really want to have it, completely full. And obviously nowadays the average movie is over 2 hours, which is about normal.
This thing is absolutely incredible. Now, is this the way they send it to you from the
No, they come in on shipping reels, which would be around 20 minutes a piece on the shipping reels. And then you have to make the movie up and put it onto the bigger reels. Yeah. So or else you would have to change over every 20 minutes. Yeah.
So, like, do you splice the movies and stuff
yes.
together to make all this happen?
I have a tape splicer, and that goes through the projector fairly well.
Yeah. So when we come in here, you get one of those big reels, you load them up on the projector, and does the movie start right on there? They have, like, if you go to other movies, you see things they run in advance promoting the movies. Is that on that reel as well?
Yes, they will either supply trailers that are attached to it, or they'll send them separate and you put them on yourself.
Now, to me, this looks really complicated, and we were talking to your dad about the fact of how it has changed. I remember the old burning rod type thing you used to have. Now, you don't use anything like that today, right?
It's all xenon lamps. And the reason why the rods they'd only burn so long, So you would have to change over every 20 minutes.
Was that dangerous that way years ago?
Oh, yes. Well, that and the film was nitrate, so it was flammable. Now it's a acetate base, in which is non-flammable.
So when did he start weaning you in on this this business?
Probably when I was about 5 or 6.
What was your first job, do you remember?
I would imagine it was probably be in the snack bar.
Is that right?
Or just hanging out.
Now, do you like, do you like working back here and doing this? And yet, and there's another thing, though. I'm sure you do. Do you have to sit and watch the whole movie, or do you know when it's time to cut into the other reel?
After about 2 or 3 showings, you know exactly when your cue marks are going to be to change over. So you can just walk back and forth, and you'll know pretty much when it's down the end of the reel when to go over to the other side.
Let's talk about those cue marks. Exactly what are they? Because is that the little things you see up in the right hand of the screen?
Mark up in the upper right-hand corner. And yeah, the first one, you'll start your motor and put your dowser down. Second one, you'll use your changeover switch and sound, because obviously lights travels quicker than sound, so your lights first.
So it gives you enough time to get all that done.
Oh yeah, I believe there's 7 seconds in between.
All right, so when the one reel is winding down, are the same frames on the other one? I mean, to sort of duplicate what's going on or not?
No, traditionally when you switch from reel to reel, it's going to be a totally different scene. So it's not seamless as you would think it would be.
Okay, very good. Jamie, we appreciate you talking to us. Of course, we are here at the Lynn Drive-In Theater today and talking about the fact that this is the oldest drive-in theater here in the state of Ohio and the second oldest in the world, and that's absolutely incredible. Now, of course, one of the fun things about coming to the drive-in theater is getting into the concession stand, and we're going to pick up with Rick, and I think his other son is going to join us, and we're going to talk about the concession stand and just kind of wrap things up here in our special segment about the history of this great drive-in theater. From the projection booth into a spot, if you've come to the Lynn Drive-In Theater, is very familiar to you, and we're in the concession stand area, and of course, Rick, everybody comes to the concession stand at a drive-in movie.
Oh, there's lots of good yummies in here to have, and let me tell you, we do have a good full menu, a variety. What more can I say?
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk to your son, Rich, in just a moment, but I got to tell you, I mentioned when we started out this segment that one of the things that I did years ago when I first started working at WJER Radio, being one of the younger members on the staff, I had the opportunity of doing the pre-show movie or music that they played through the speakers, and I'd record about a half hour's worth of songs, and we'd plug the concession stands, and I remember saying about all the good things in the concession stands.
I remember you saying hamburgers, cheeseburgers, hot dogs, Pepsi, diet, and on, and we had a ball. We had a blast with it.
It really, do you still do that type of thing? Or do you guys do it yourselves now? You're not using outside help, huh?
No, as a matter of fact, we're using some of your radio talents nowadays.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, Kelly Kyle has been
has been replaced. We should do a remember when and come back and do one.
We should. Let's
that
do
would
a
be
remember
neat.
when.
Yeah.
No, but Kelly's been real super in helping us out with the pre-show announcements and stuff like that, and the concession advertising. So.
Yeah, and of course we always plug the upcoming movies, what would be coming up, and that type of thing.
Oh yeah, we did then, but now we have a website you can go to.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
what's that?
Well, there's Rich, help me, LynnAutotheater.com or LynnDriveInMovies.com. We'll get you to our website.
All right. Now we're going to talk and meet your other son. Who's this one we're going to meet?
This is Rich, my oldest son, and Rich has many different hats that he wears, so
we'll find out about those hats.
You'll find out about those hats.
We're going to talk to Rich, and Rich, hey, welcome on the show.
Hey, welcome to the concession stand.
Hey, spent a lot of time in here, Rich. Anyhow, let's talk about staff, because we met your dad, obviously, and Jamie and yourself. Do you have other people who work with you here at the theater?
Right now we have some reliable employees, Matt, Wendy, and Lou. They're working for us, and just an outstanding crack staff that we have, where you're able to leave the building for a couple minutes and take care of customer service. You come back, and all our guests are being taken care of there with a smile.
Let's talk about that. And we really haven't mentioned this. Now, what are your hours here, and what are your runs for the summer coming up?
Well, June is, one of the longest months of the year, so we're open a little bit later, and the concession stand opens up as soon as the box office opens up, and then it closes after the second feature has started. So we don't have hard exact times. We just we're here to serve the public during the first feature, and then our arcade and our bathrooms remain open until the end of the second feature.
And of course, we were talking about the speakers out front. Of course, now what I need, your T-shirts are really great because it has the old speaker on there. It's sort of a traditional way of remembering the drive-in.
Yes, my wife's brother designed these shirts, Darren Klum, and he's in the advertising, but he lives down in Dayton, so unfortunately we can't talk to him today.
No. But the speakers they're a real highlight. I know people remember those from way back, obviously, and you still have them out here.
Yeah, when people go to the drive-in, they expect to see speakers. They've seen the old movies, for instance, Grease, and they when they go to a drive-in, say for the first time, and you expect speakers on the poles. And that's what we provide, is that nostalgic look there, along with an updated sound through our radio sound.
Yeah. Now, you're younger, obviously, and you see people coming back. Your dad mentioned about it's sort of a renaissance to come back to the drive-ins. What kind of reaction have you been getting? Have you talked to people maybe haven't been in one for a long time, or maybe have never been to one? What kind of comments do you get?
Well, these are the good old days. It's just like the good old days, and these are our good old days. And it is another golden age where people want to get outside. They're a little tired of sitting inside and renting a movie, and it's a totally different experience from seeing an indoor theater experience. So it's definitely a different experience to be able to get outside with your family or just a couple. And the way our prices are set up, it is family friendly.
I was going to say, that's one thing about it. I mean, it is family friendly when it comes to the pocketbook.
Mm-hmm. Like, we don't do carloads. What we do is we do adult prices $5 per person, and kids 5 to 11 are only $1. So during the week, say a mother of 2 can take their kids to the movies, for $7, which if you went with a carload, say $12, well, it's not such a bargain after all.
Yeah, right. Well, you guys are doing a super job. I'm glad to see you keeping it going. You're going to stay in the family business.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's really great. We're talking to Rich, of course, Rick's son, and we're going to come back to Rick. And Rick, again, I want to thank you for letting us come up and be here and talking about this. It is certainly a great reminiscence for me to come back here and be with you. And, of course, one of the things we talked about doing, I wasn't going to mention this, but I think I will, because it's just things, you remember about the drive-ins and those bad teenagers back then. They'd put those kids in the trunk and they'd end them up pulling them out after they got through the admission stand. Now, do you have that as a problem today?
we nowadays really, with the admission prices, like my son said, though that kind of era is gone. But, it would be a hoot if we did do an old 50s skit doing that. But... that's another segment.
Rick, I want you to know it's been really great, and we should point out that your dad is still active and working here with you and your boys and your grandson.
Well, yeah, Dad just celebrated his 90th birthday, and we're trying to research. We think he is the oldest drive-in theater owner in the world. Not only that, but the oldest exhibitor in the world, and we're out there on the web trying to find out if that information is actually factual. So we're hoping that it is, but for right now we're just saying he's one of the oldest drive-in theaters owners in the world. Dad is extremely active still in the theater, doing the booking of the films and stuff like that. So he's still number one.
All right, very good. We really appreciate you letting us come up. This has been a real fun time, and we hope you've enjoyed our special segment here this morning. And Rick, we wish you, Jamie, and Rich all the very best and continued success here in operating the oldest drive-in theater in the state of Ohio and the second oldest in the world. Absolutely incredible, and it's right here in our own backyard.
Right here in our own backyard.
Yeah. So come up and enjoy it. Thanks for joining us again on Special Segment.